Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about OOPS. So OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming System. It is a programming approach that helps us write clean, reusable and secure code. OOPS is based on 4 pillars. First is encapsulation, then abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. In this video, I will discuss the first pillar, encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is the process of wrapping data and methods into a single unit and hiding the internal data from direct access. For example, in a bank system, you cannot directly change the account balance. You have to use methods like deposit and withdrawal. That is called encapsulation. I have implemented this real-world bank account example in my code. Now, the theoretical part is complete. Now let's go to the code implementation and discuss. So I have two files. First is main app.py. This file run the code. Okay. And another file account.py, which is content the bank account class. Inside the class, I write a constructor and multiple methods. Okay. Now start discussing from this file because this file is executed fast. So let's go. First, I import the bank account class here. Okay. And create an object called account and call the bank account class and pass to argument. Okay. This is the name of the account holder and the balance. This line number 3 directly go to the this area. This is the constructor in the bank account class. In this constructor, the name is public. Everyone can access the name, and the bank balance is not public, it is private. When we write 2_ before any attribute name, this is set the attribute as private. If I just enter 1_, this is refers to protected data. In this case, I use private. Okay. So in the bank account class, constructor was called and set the name and the bank balance. Name, which is Swarup, and bank balance is 1000. Okay. Now go to this line number 6. Account, the object name, ACC account, and deposit, which is a method, 500 rupees. Okay. Now go to this line. This is the deposit method, also called the setter method, which is set the bank balance or calculate and perform some updates. Okay. So the deposit method take 2 parameters. First is self and second amount, which is entered by the user. Now I write a condition: if amount greater than 0, then access the private attribute balance and add the amount. Okay. Previously we set the amount 1000 and now we deposit 500, so amount will be 1.5k. Okay. We can write this line like this. Okay. This is also the same. Now go to the line number 7, which is called the withdrawal method. Withdrawal 300 rupees. Okay. This is the withdrawal method. I write it also take 2 parameters. First is self and then is amount, which is entered by the user. Okay. Then I write a condition: if amount is less than the bank balance, then you perform some operations. Like in this case, I am just access the private attribute and withdraw money using minus is equal to operator. Just one more thing we need to know: whenever we need to access the private method, we create a public method. Inside the public method, we access the private attribute, and when we call the public attribute, then we get the data. Okay. In this case, this is def withdrawal is the public method, and inside the method we call the balance, which is private, and perform some operations. Like in this case, we perform withdrawal. Okay. And return it. Then go to the line number 9. which is called the get balance. So this is the get balance code. This is also called a getter method. It is a public method which is access and return the bank balance, that is private. Okay, if I want to access the private attribute balance directly, then it will give us error. Okay, so this is the wrong way. We cannot directly access the private attribute or method. To access private methods, we definitely create a public method, and inside the method we access the private attribute, okay, or method. So I comment it. Now go to the account process month end. This is referred to the bank charges. Okay, whenever we perform some transactions, the bank takes some charges from our account. Okay, so this is the same. So implement this. We go to the this line. This is a private method. Why? Because before the name of the method, I write to underscore. Okay, that's why this is the private method. Inside the private method, I simply implement the bank charges using minus operation. Okay, because this is a private method, that's why we can't directly call or access it. Apply the bank charges. I create an public method called process month end. Okay, inside the method I access the private method apply bank charges, and in the line number 18 I simply call the public method. Okay, and again see the bank balance. Okay, now simply run. Wait a second. Yeah, okay. Okay, first we initialize the bank balance 1000. Okay, then we perform deposit operation and add 500 rupees. Okay, then withdraw 300 rupees. So first we have 100, then add 500, which is 1.5k, and after withdrawal 300, so 1.2k balance remaining. Okay, after withdrawal, now check the balance. This is the exact balance after performing withdrawal, deposit, then the bank charges applied, which is 10 rupees. So that's why the 10 rupees is cut from our bank. Okay,